Pollution is a serious problem that is existing in all parts of the world. Pollution from water contamination, industrial complex, war, and overpopulation. The main problem of pollution is that it's really hard to find a way to reduce the pollution from the affected area. The Aberdeen proving grounds in Maryland are a prime example of this. Aberdeen is the oldest active proving ground area in America where weapons have been tested for decades for wars dating back to the World War II. This providing art has been active since 1917, almost 100 years. The addition of chemical experiment, weapons, and disposal of waste materials in Aberdeen contribute to heavy metal pollution, make it one of the most contaminated areas in the world. Pollution inspected usually comes from heavy metals such as lead that is deadly to humans. Our like in this are in the risk from contaminated water or land sources in the surrounding area. It could be sensorily damage to the area of generations to become.
The method we propose for this assignment is a 4-stage hydrogeological survey. This method requires the collection of both qualitative and quantitative data in order to create both conceptual and analytical hydrogeological models of the Aberdeen Proving Ground. These models will show the direction of water flow from Aberdeen to the private wells in Baltimore. This is an outline of the method that we will use. The first stage is a depth study in which we will collect qualitative data such as satellite images to be used to determine land surface, parameter, and runoff locations. The spectral analysis of the proving ground will also be used to create a 3D model of the site. The qualitative data collected will be used to find bore locations. The second stage is for data collection. Qualitative data, such as drainage class and stoniness, is collected from the soil and the bores at both Aberdeen and Baltimore. The quantitative data, such as pH levels, alkalinity, reactivity, and ion concentration levels, are collected from the soil and water. The third stage will require the utilization of the data collected to be used in the creation of two models, a conceptual model and an analytical model. These models will show the direction of water flow from Aberdeen to the wells in Baltimore. An example of a conceptual model is shown on the slide. The final stage will be used to interpret the models and draw conclusions on how the wells in Baltimore absorb lead and copper from Aberdeen Proving Ground.
There are many ways that our research could impact the community. For one, it could encourage others to do the same type of experiments for other areas who are dealing with contaminated water issues. Another impact of our research is that we can actually gain insight on how these incidents actually do happen, and from there we can go about preventing these incidents from happening. This experiment would also impact the local Baltimore community by making their water cleaner and generally safer for them. There isn't really any way the community can affect our experiment, since our experiment is basically just helping us learn how the contaminated water can travel from miles away from the Aberdeen Proving Grounds.
As a researcher, it is our job to keep damage done to the environment during our research to a minimal and also uphold ethical standards. Now, when we are dealing with this, we need to look at the 4 major levels. First, we have institutional, which is like UTSA. Then we have professional, which is things such as a private practice. Then we have national, which is groups like the EPA. And finally, we have international, which is like the International Environment Research Foundation. Now, during our research at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds, we may have put in danger the health of people in the surrounding area. It's proposed during our research that we would drill down into the ground to collect heavy metal samples near the wells. Now, if we were to accidentally hit a well, we may have accidentally contaminated the environment of the area and poisoned the drinking water of the people there. This could have caused huge damages and maybe have ended up like Flint, Michigan. There could have been other ways to do this.
There are problems like this around the world. As we, as a species, become more advanced in technology, the more polluted the world becomes. Places like India, China, and other developed countries get rid of chemical waste by simply dumping it wherever they want to. Heavy metal pollution is just one aspect of one of the 100 other ways to pollute the earth. In my generation, there have been more of a push to make it a cleaner place. Though not a huge amount of people now use solar panels in their houses or on their houses, electric cars and wind farms are becoming more common. Research such as this can lead to changes in how things are handled and thus make the world a cleaner place to live. Research indicates change in the normality of present ways of doing things.